see you in a few months, for the war has just begun. And payback is coming.
Yo, 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 yo. You know what this is, man. This is your favorite channel. CTB, Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? We love boxing and you love boxing.
That's a fact, most definitely. This is the place where the fight fans come to get these delicious entrees of boxing knowledge. On the menu, man, what you got for them today on the menu, man?
And we got some breaking news about the court case with the arbitration between Wilder and Fury. Let's give everybody the details.
Let's do it, man. This has been an entree that we've probably been slow roasting over the last couple months, man. It's been a slow roasting entree. We about to feed the boxing fans real quick. Man, arbitration ruling came in. It's a done deal. Legally binding contract was signed between Wilder and Fury. So the arbitrator has ruled in Deontay Wilder's favor. If you don't know what that means that he's either fight Wilder next or don't fight at all. That's pretty much what Fury is looking at. If he does have another fight, I mean, I see damages being in the tens of millions of dollars. So we don't see that. We already put a video out saying that's not gonna happen. But man, yeah, on the short sample size of information we got lately so far, because it's breaking news. What did we tell them, man? What did we say, man?
Pretty much, man, we gave y'all verbatim exactly how this was gonna play out. We told y'all we were not hating on the Joshua and Fury fight. We were just using our own common sense about the arbitration in the Wilder situation and realized that until that situation was settled, that they couldn't have a fight. And also, by having two promoters, that one wasn't talking and the other one was doing all the talking. Then when one don't talk, the other one talk. When you have a big time fight, everybody is talking at the same time and it's promoting the fight to get it out there. So when we seen that, we knew it was something strange going on. And like I said, I think Wilder and Joshua would be a big fight and a great fight, especially for UK. That'd be history. So I'm not hating on the fight. I just knew from the details we had and what we've been telling y'all. And if you don't believe us, go back and look at our old videos. Go back and check them out. And you'll see that everything we said is happening all the way up to the present day. Me and Jay called it right on point. So I mean, right now, I think now we're looking at what's next, because now we know that, you know, unfortunately, the Joshua and Fury fight can't go on right now. So the focus is more on Fury and Wilder and what is their future.
You said it, man. We called this, like we said, we called it verbatim. Everything from where ESPN was covering it, we chopped it up on how that didn't make any sense to pay Wilder $10 million step aside money. Why would Wilder take $10 million step aside money if he was guaranteed a trilogy was going to make $100 million? Not only that, why would you take $10 million step aside if he's going in court right now to force the third fight, and the damages would have been in the tens of millions of dollars? We said all of that, man. It made perfect sense to us. Like we said, we wasn't hating on the Fury fight, the Fury AJ fight. We want to see all three of these guys fight. I said it repeatedly. I want to see all three of these guys fight. I said it numerous of times. But to us, it was just common sense, to be honest. We if anything you have to do, I was taught this at an early age. I was taught this early. If you want to find the truth, follow the money. The money is going to lead you somewhere to something that makes sense at the end of the day. The money is going to take you to the outcome of most situations, especially here in America where currency is everything. And the money just didn't make sense, man. Let me know about that statement, man. What about the money, man, that you was just guaranteed, that you just knew in the back of your mind that didn't make sense and it didn't add up? Even with the announcement of Fury AJ having a $150 million, $155 million site fee reported, we still knew that wasn't enough money. But tell the fans why we knew that wasn't enough money to have that fight.
I mean, once again, we're using common sense with Saudi Arabia. But one thing, you still in a pandemic. But two, you also have a lawsuit over there that Mayweather just filed against them for claiming he had a they had to pay him, I think, a third. I may be off, but I think it was a third of what he was owed, which was $120 million. And if they didn't pay him a third up front, and his cash, in a check, whatever, that they would have to pay him the whole $120 million. Guess what? He never got his third of a payment. That's why he's going through a lawsuit now. Now you have Fury and Joshua. They say they can come up with 165 million.
It was 155.
155 million for a site fee, but is no proof that they gonna have the money. So you want Matchroom to promote and market a fight. You want Top Rank and ESPN to promote and market a fight, and put money behind this machine of a huge fight just for the Saudi Arabians to maybe back out and leave them hanging and leave them losing millions and millions of dollars. It just didn't make much sense, or as far as business wise. I mean, it sound good when somebody when they say $155 million site fee, but until you actually say, all right, we got $155 million, but we're willing to give y'all $40 million up front, $20 million to Fury team and $20 million to Joshua. I'm just throwing a number out there, and we're gonna give you this money up front to show you that we're serious about having this fight here. Like me and you talked about off the record, it just made more sense to me anyway to have to fight in the UK. You got two of the biggest heavyweights in history that can make probably maybe the biggest fight in UK history, and you have it in another country. It's just that nothing added up and nothing made sense to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of called it too. We both didn't understand why Fury was the only one who seemed not to want the Wilder fight. We knew Bob Byrne was chasing the Wilder fight. Bob Byrne has said on a couple channels, on a couple people's channels on YouTube here, like Boxing Conversations, and then he kind of was throwing hints at the fact that he will prefer that U.S.-based fight during the pandemic because it will make more money and it made better sense. We both called it out in Texas. We said that Texas was open early during the pandemic. They could have had it there months ago. We called all of that. So I don't want to say it was a bluff per se. I really do believe they thought the AJ Fury fight could be made. I really believe they thought that Wilder wasn't going to chase the legal route because it costs millions of dollars to chase the arbitration route. They spend millions of dollars. Both of them spent millions of dollars in legal fees, which we said in the previous video. That why is Fury spending millions of dollars to avoid this man instead of making $100 million fighting this man? Check our last video out. We said that. But they didn't think Deontay Wilder would do that. They didn't think that he would spend millions of dollars doing that. But he did. They didn't think that Deontay Wilder wasn't going to take step-aside money. They thought that beating Deontay Wilder took in that fight, he's not going to want to fight Fury again right away. He's going to want a tune-up fight. That's not what Deontay Wilder wants. Deontay Wilder, the fans don't want to see that again. The fans seen Deontay Wilder get beat twice. That's not what the contract is. In the contract. So what we basically was saying to you guys the whole time, we wasn't hating on the fight. We were just wanting what's best for boxing. We wanted Deontay Wilder to get what's fit. If Deontay Wilder would have took any of those things, if he would have took a step aside money, if he would have took a build-up fight, then we would have came on here and we would have marketed that fight. We would have came up here and congratulated him on his step aside money. Whatever the case may be, we didn't care. We just saw somebody who was doing wrong, who tried to right or wrong, and we saw a big fight being negotiated with nothing really to stand on. Like, it was just a bunch of empty promises from last year. Okay, but real quickly, man, what's next, man? What do you see? We've been seeing Wilder training. We've been seeing Fury training. Fury's now here in the States training. So this fight is going to be huge, man. I know a lot of Fury fans, a lot of AJ fans don't want to hear it, but we said it. I said it. I think this fight is a lot bigger than AJ Fury, in my opinion. I think the Wilder Fury fight, third fight, is so much stuff in the back. Like, there's so much drama that's been happening over the last year that this fight is going to be huge, bro. So what kind of numbers you estimating, man? We hear the site fee of 150 million, 155 million for AJ. You think it's topping that? Or you think it's getting close to that?
Man, first of all, I'm laughing because I'm still afraid that Tyson Fury might just run to retirement. But like you said, I don't think he's allowed to do that under the ruling. So I think he has to fight.
He can retire if he chooses. So you don't.
Well, he can retire. So that scares me. That scares me that he may retire.
He might go.
You heard it here first. He may just say, "Hey." He
He
made
been
good
training in
money
the
off.
UFC.
He made good money off Wilder off the first 2 fights, so he got enough money to retire. So don't be surprised. We called it here first, CTB. If Fury retired, we told you today that it could happen. But looking into what you just asked me about the what was the question you asked me?
AJ and Fury has a $155 million site.
Okay,
So
I'm getting old, y'all. Excuse me.
Do you think a Wilder Fury fight would grant that amount of money?
I believe it will be a little bit more than that. I think they can make a little bit more than what Joshua and AJ fight. I think a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's the backstory, it's the drama, it's the scandals, it's the accusations that Wilder has put out there. It's the stuff that Fury has said. They both do not like each other at all. This is gonna be a build up. It's gonna be a lot of nasty words thrown both ways. Or whatever they decide to do for like an all access type show, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, man. I can't wait. I mean, they're gonna talk about the first fight, where he got knocked down, and some people say he didn't make the 10 count, and Wilder felt he won that fight. Then you got the second fight where Fury dominated, but then there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes because he seemed to be off. He said his water was somebody messed with his water, contaminated, whatever. And he also had a breathing situation. So you have that, and you also have the glove situation. So all that combined, man, with the 2 huge heavyweights, and like you said, somewhere like Texas, where you could put 100,000 people in a Dallas Cowboys stadium, and you probably can do 2 million pay-per-views. This is huge.
I agree with you, man. The timing of it is perfect too, man, because we starving for a big fight. So but you hear pretty much. I'm not gonna touch on everything that you touched because you hit everything on the head. I'm gonna add something to it. The fan bases alone for these two guys.
Oh yeah,
they've been going back and forth over a year now about who will win or who deserves a second fight or whatever. You've been going back and forth. It's so much so that a lot of channels, especially here on YouTube, a lot of boxing channels got their start based off of this beef alone, based off the Fury beef and the Wilder beef. A lot of people making LDBC. I know LDBC. They have a lot of Wilder fans there, so they get a lot of Wilder hate. So just that fan base alone would bring in millions of views.
Let's just say, I'm not saying he done it. Let's just say Fury did cheat.
Yeah.
Right. And then he comes out and he fights his third fight. The second fight, he walked right through Wilder. He was pinning him on his tail. And then his third fight, he's hitting Wilder. He's punching him, and the punch is not doing the same. You know how funny that's gonna look. You know what I mean? If he fights that third fight and all of a sudden the power just disappears. So it's a lot of pressure on both of these guys. A lot of pressure on Wilder too, because he said about the gloves and the water. And if he come out this third fight, I'm pretty sure he's gonna make sure them gloves are straight this time. He gonna make sure his hands is wrapped correctly and all his stuff is, all his T's is crossed, all his I's is dotted this time. So the man can't cheat, even though Fury seems to be a very good cheater. It seems to be from his past. But if he gets mocked up again, Wilder, that's gonna look bad. But if he walks through Fury, or Fury that can't hurt him, then Fury looks horrible. So it's so many storylines, man, and so many questions that can be answered in the third fight.
You kind of gave me another. You kind of made me another. That made me think of something. Not just if Fury gets beat up by Wilder, or Wilder doesn't feel his punches as much, but if he did cheat and he can't do it again, what game plan would he pull out next?
That's what I'm saying. It's scary. It's scary.
What else other? I mean, there's plenty other tricks that you learn in the boxing gym that you probably add in the ring. But I don't know, man. It's curious to see if Fury will take that fight, knowing if he did, allegedly, if he did cheat. It's kind of this time. Yeah, if you can't do it this time, I'm just curious to see if he really in the position, because he can't back out the fight. Like, I don't want to fight Wilder now because he called me this and called me that, and blah blah blah, because he's contractually obligated to. So all this out the window now. You have to fight him. If you want to fight, if you want to continue in this sport of boxing, you have to fight him. So you can't say that no more. So now that he said all that, and the world had heard him say all that, and we've been seeing it, we looked at pictures and videos and all kind of stuff. What are you going to do next? Are you going to try to come on with another game plan to possibly cheat, allegedly, or are you going to just make it a point that you didn't have to cheat and make it a point to show everything? So there's going to be no more unplugging the camera in the changing rooms. It's going to be no more put my hands in gasoline, get my hands in gasoline, and all of that bullshit. All that's gotta go out the window. You got to show the world that you're gonna beat this man on an even playing field. If you do so, then the AJ Fury fight is gonna be huge. Still be huge. It's still
bigger than this fight.
You're not losing out. You're not losing out on anything. You still gonna have that 100, probably more than that. Probably 200 million now.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on how well this third fight will Wilder sell. So you might wind up winning in the back end and winning yourself extra 25 million on a cut. Or you go in here and like you made a point and you hit Wilder and Wilder just shrug it off and he just rush you and knock you out, and then now all this was for nothing. So this is my last and final question. After watching Ruiz and AJ go through their trilogy and watching how Ruiz put a stop to it, the Fury, the AJ Wilder talk back then, and how AJ got a beating pretty much. He came back from that. Do you see Deontay Wilder making that same type of stride that AJ did with Fury? Do you see him being able to better change his game plan up and come up with a game plan that actually works to beat Fury? Now,
to me, Wilder is, from what I've seen in his short samples of his training videos, he's doing everything he needs to do to win that Fury fight. To me, I'm very intrigued now because he's open to changes. I don't think he needs to do too much, because if you try to do too much, it might backfire. But just the little small changes he needs to make fundamentally in his game, he's doing. So I think it's going to be big for him. I think it's going to be huge. And I think if you had to ask me now, I think that the third fight going to go totally different than the last fight went.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think the third fight is going to be way different. I don't see Deontay Wilder. I'm not going to say he was slow because of the drug water. I will say he probably was slow slow as in going after Fury. He came in there to box Fury. I don't see that happening this time. I don't see Wilder going in there to box nobody. I see Wilder going in there to hurt this man, which is the Wilder we need in this position right now, to be honest, to beat Fury. That's the only way I see him beating Fury, because he's not going to outbox Fury. This just is what it is. No matter how much he improved in the gym, he's still years behind the Fury skill level when it comes to boxing. So at this point, he has to fight this man. So, and with Wilder punch, man, that's a tall tale for Fury to get past, man. But with that being said, man, you got anything else you want to add to this topic before we head out of here?
No, I'm gonna make one last statement, and the last statement I'm gonna say is, if Fury retires. If he retires without fighting Wilder, to me, he cheated. Now, I'm not for sure if he cheated or not. If you ask me, I tell you what I think, but thinking ain't shit. But if this guy retires and doesn't fight Wilder with the money he can make and with the court ruling, sorry, in my book, he's a cheater. And that second fight don't mean nothing to me.
Yo, that's a deep statement. I 100% agree with that, to be honest. If he ducked out of this fight, that's a guilty verdict, in my opinion. That's saying that, yo, I did it. I got away with it once. Got away with it twice. The third time, can't do it the third time. That's why. But yeah, this is your favorite channel, man, with the big news. This is your favorite channel, CTB. Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. Cut him out of here, Jamar.
All right, everybody, remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. Logo at the bottom of the screen. Just click on it and subscribe. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love. And we out of here.